One of the ways that you can customize Minecraft is by using resource packs, which is why I found Minecraft's best resource packs, and I'm going to be rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. And we're going to be starting with better vanilla building. When I rate these texture packs, I'm going to be considering 3 different factors: for blocks, for mobs, and the items. At first glance, a Minecraft world doesn't look too different until you look at the hotbar. The hotbar's slightly different. And then you start looking at all the items and blocks, and there's quite a few changes. First of all, we've got all of the logs. Honestly, I don't think these are too bad. The nether ones actually do change quite a lot, but lots of them do stay pretty similar to default Minecraft, just with some more shading changes. Next up, we can take a look at all of the ores, and for some of them I'm not too sure. For example, the iron, I think the default vanilla iron looks better. Same with lots of them, to be honest. I think the diamonds look good, and I think the emeralds look good, but that might be just because they're closer to vanilla. What is cool about better vanilla building is that it allows for 3D support for ladders and rails, which, if you see my normal videos, I'm a massive fan of. Especially these ladders, these are such cool designs. However, in my opinion, I'm not a massive fan of these hay bales. I think they're just too vibrant. Same way, I don't really like the dried kelp, as honestly it doesn't really look like kelp. I don't really know what it looks like. It just doesn't look very good in my opinion. I mean, then again, I don't really build with dried kelp, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. Next, taking a look at all of the workstations, honestly some of these are really cool. The crafting table's completely changed, but I think it's in a good way. I really like this crafting table. The fletching table honestly looks better. The loom's a bit darker, which I'm a fan of. The target block's more circular, which is cool. The barrels have changed. I'm not too sure. I think actually, you know what? I like the shading on these barrels. However, I think vanilla default Minecraft does it a little bit better. And the scaffolding, beehives, and bee nests have also changed. Honestly, these aren't too bad. And actually, this scaffolding looks really cool. Taking a look at blocks like diamond blocks, netherite blocks, and iron blocks, nothing seems to have changed that much, except from the gold. I'm actually a massive fan of this gold. I'm pretty sure this is what gold's brand new texture was going to look like until they changed it. It's not too bad in my opinion though. And obviously the redstone does have a really cool glow to it, which is actually quite cool and it does make quite a lot of sense. Now let's take a look at some of the paintings. Not many have changed, but the ones that have changed do look pretty cool. This one here is really cool. It's like a beacon in between mountains, and I'm pretty sure this one here is the creator's face. Now let's take a look at all the default sort of spawning blocks. I think the grass blocks look cool. The dirt blocks look really cool. Completely different to the vanilla style of dirt blocks. The sand and red sand has changed. Granite diorite has sort of changed. Bone blocks. Oh wow, bone blocks look really cool to be honest. I also just completely forgot to take a look at what the bookshelves look like. Yeah, these are alright. I'm more of a fan of variated bookshelves though, to be honest. Oh wait, there is some slight variation. Next, taking a look at all of the armor sets, nothing changed too much except from the netherite. And actually, the netherite looks really cool. However, I'm pretty sure you can recreate that similar style with trims now. And taking a look at the creative inventory, you can see how all of the tools and things have changed. Even the buckets have changed, and honestly, yeah, this bucket texture looks really cool. Lots of the food items have also changed, and they've changed beetroot to corn in this texture pack. Also, all of the enchantment books have their own brand new custom textures, which honestly look really cool. Next, we can take a look at the glazed terracottas, and actually quite a few of them have changed. For example, green, brown, and light grey, all have brand new textures. So the green one I assume is a bamboo block, the brown one's a custom crate, and I'm not sure what this light grey one is. Maybe this one would work better in like a futuristic type build. Next, we can take a look at all of the flowers, and lots of them do have their own variations. And honestly, the oxide daisies are pretty cool. It's almost like what the pink petals look like. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. That's really cool. Some of the flowers do have less noticeable changes, and some don't really change at all. For example, the cornflower, I can't see much of a variation. I think it's just in the height. To be honest, I'm not a fan of these alliums. If you've watched my videos before, you know I'm just not a fan of these alliums normally. I know this is what alliums are supposed to look like. However, in my texture pack, I change them to make them look much nicer in my opinion. As just like this lollipop texture just doesn't look good in my opinion. And taking a look at all of the woods and all of the planks, there's some noticeable differences with the logs and things as we mentioned earlier, and some of the planks look different. This is crimson. Crimson's completely changed its texture color. And looking at the stems more in depth, I really like the glow on them. Now, taking a look at a selection of random mobs, not many of them have changed their textures, although some of them have, like the chicken. The chicken's got a brand new texture, and it's actually got loads of variation to it. Yeah, these chickens are really cool. Oh, and the baby chickens look so cool in this texture pack. I think other noticeable mob texture changes are to do with pigs. Yeah, they have variation and they have cool ears. And also, I'm pretty sure skeletons have slight changes as well. And if we're taking a look at one of these builds I just randomly created, honestly this does just look a bit like vanilla, but almost in a better way. I really like the style of this build now with better vanilla building texture pack. However, I'm still not a massive fan of these hay bales, but that is just my opinion. Now obviously there's loads more to cover in this texture pack, as I know it has loads of custom textures and things, but overall I'm going to rate it an 8 out of 10. So let's move on to the next texture pack. After you subscribe, as I want to see how many subscribers I can be on by the end of the month. So if you want to help support the channel, make sure to subscribe. The next texture pack we're going to be taking a look at is one I used for a very long time. Stay True. As the name of this texture pack suggests, it does stay true to the vanilla style, however, gives some really cool tweaks. For example, taking a look at most of the logs, they seem to have stayed the same. However, taking a look at some other blocks, there are notable changes. For example, most of the ores have changed, and a lot of them now have variation, and even animations such as on the gold ones. Yeah, this looks really cool. The coal looks really good as well. Yeah, I'm a fan of these ores. Also, leaves have had a massive change. So if I just grab a few different types, you'll notice that they have bushy textures on them now. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I'm a fan of the bushy leaf textures. However, one problem is the birch leaves are pink. And whilst that's not necessarily a bad thing, it does affect existing builds and decorations. For example, over here, I've made some custom spruce tree designs and mixed in some birch leaves. And with this texture pack on, the leaves have changed to pink, so it just doesn't look as good. It's also not just pink. For example, in forest biomes, the leaves actually turn to orange, which definitely does affect what my custom forest looks like. But as I take a look at some of the more in-depth bits of my world, this texture pack looks amazing. For example, the mud blocks are actually brown, which looks really good. The wheat texture looks great. Berry bushes and grass have variations, which are really cool. The flowers have really cool decorations. Yeah, this texture pack's honestly amazing. Yeah, all of the crop fields have changed, and honestly they look really cool. I really like the golden wheat, all the variated flowers, as this resource pack focuses heavily on variation, which is evident as I'm just walking down my coarse dirt path, as most of the blocks have different textures on them. Yeah, looking around an area like this with Stay True just looks really cool. Honestly, this wheat is so cool because it's got variated height as well. This is fully grown and this is fully grown. The barrels look cool, the stonecutter looks good. Yeah, this texture pack is really cool. Yeah, looking at all the different flowers and things, these look so cool. Once again, not a massive fan of the alliums, but that doesn't matter too much. Even the torch flowers have variation, even pitcher plants. These are dead bushes which look really cool. The sunflowers look good, and all the double tall flowers all have like different colors to them now. Although this resource pack doesn't change items or mobs too much, it's still an amazing resource pack, which is why I'll rate it a 9 out of 10. My only problem with it is the fact that it does change Minecraft a little too much. However, if you're looking at a build from the distance, it doesn't seem to change it too much. Next, probably one of the greatest websites available to Minecraft players, Vanilla Tweaks. If you didn't know, Vanilla Tweaks is a resource pack picker, where you are able to combine different textures to create your dream resource pack. And for this showcase here, I've combined almost every vanilla tweak. Starting at the logs this time, as they've actually had a change. They're now circular. And honestly, I use this resource pack every day as it just looks so good. You may notice the UI is different as well, as I've got dark UI installed, as well as numbered hotbar and smaller crosshair. Next, taking a look at all of the ores, we've got unlit redstone ore, which looks really cool, and we've got border doors. Although I wouldn't recommend playing with border doors just in vanilla Minecraft, as it definitely does take away from what you can do with ores. Next, I've added a ton of 3D textures. For example, 3D ladders, 3D rails, 3D iron bars, 3D sugarcane, 3D stonecutters, and a load of 3D items. Honestly, I'm a massive fan of this 3D sea pickle texture. As well as that, I've added in 3D doors and trapdoors, and honestly, some of these look really cool. For example, the bamboo ones here, these are really cool with 3D icons and textures. You may have also realised the grass is much greener, and that's because I installed the lush grass all around resource pack, which changes what the grass looks like to the jungle texture, which honestly just makes the Minecraft world look so cool. However, this does affect most biomes, which is why I don't play with it, as I like the variation that grass has in different biomes. Next, we got one of my favourite resource packs, which is ashless campfires, which when you get rid of a flame in a campfire, it gives this ashless texture, which just looks so much better. We've got clearer water and age 25 kelp to show when kelp can no longer grow past a certain point. We've got changed glazed terracotta, which changes the texture, where it normally has to be in a 2x2, to just be a 1x1 texture, which definitely allows for more decoration to be done. Next, the scaffolding texture is changed to reflect that it's made from bamboo. We've got one of my favourite features, the moss layer carpet, which just adds a really cool layer effect onto the moss carpet, which also works on every block inside the game. Once again, Vanilla Tweaks allows for bushy leaves. However, with these ones, I'm not a massive fan, as they don't look great in my opinion. We've also got smoother wool, which just makes wool blocks look so much cooler. One of my favourite 3D textures as part of Vanilla Tweaks is 3D chiseled bookshelves. as there's actual really cool 3D shelves. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of this. We've got unbundled hay and dried kelp, which just gets rid of a strap around them. Honestly, this looks really good. And we have black nether brick, which changes the default vanilla nether brick texture to a black texture, which honestly would work much better with blackstone. Now, one of my only problems with vanilla tweaks is the lack of variation to the flowers and foliage in the game. However, some flowers do get variations. For example, you can make them taller and face in random directions. Plus, the sunflower itself looks much fancier. Although these sunflowers are 3 blocks high, you can't actually break the top one, so you still have to break it like a default sunflower. Vanilla tweaks also allows bamboo planks to look like the rest of the planks that exist in the game. On top of this, it allows for loads of variation to the different blocks. For example, birch blocks have big changes, as do red mushrooms, dirt blocks, brick, and even bookshelves, which can also be 3D. Vanilla Tweaks also has a smaller utility section, which allows foods, water buckets, totems, compasses, and things like that to be much smaller in your hand. Plus, one of the resource packs I can't live without, lower shield, which makes the shield so much lower, so it's not as annoying as you're walking around. Plus, an alternative enchant glint for your items and your armor. If I was going to recommend a resource pack for anyone to use, I'd recommend Vanilla Tweaks, because honestly, it allows for so much customization. And here's what my hardcore world looks like with every vanilla tweak. Lots of it doesn't change too much, however it is noticeable when you look at the trees, the sugarcane, and probably most noticeably the water. However, the coolest part about vanilla tweaks is the fact that it's customizationable, meaning if you don't want clearer water, you don't have to have clearer water. If there's one part of vanilla tweaks I would recommend having though, it's obviously lower shield. Overall, I'm going to give Vanilla Tweaks a 10 out of 10. It's probably my favourite resource pack. However, these next two are still very good. Yeah, this one's got a big change. We've got Bare Bones. And you may have heard of Bare Bones, as it recreates what Minecraft's trailers look like. So yeah, there are some very noticeable changes. For example, the leaves are all just one colour, which I don't really know how I feel about that, as it's very hard to tell between oak and acacia leaves. One of the cool things about Bare Bones is the fact that it just makes everything much more vibrant. Like even simple things like the items have changed a lot. Yeah, just throwing shaders on, Bare Bones looks amazing. However, the problem I have with it is just the simplicity. I don't think I could play Minecraft if it looked like this all of the time. Although I do know that this is the point of a resource pack, so it's a very good execution. However, to play this, I'm going to rate it a 6 out of 10, as it is playable, it's just not great in my opinion. And I guess looking at things from further away, it doesn't look too bad. Before I move on to the final resource pack, let me know in the comments which one has been your favourite. And whilst you're down there, please subscribe. Now this final resource pack we're going to be taking a look at is actually a combination of two. One that exists in default Minecraft, and vanilla tweaks to just change some of the textures. And if you watched one of my recent videos, you'll probably know what it is, as this is the old Minecraft textures. From a distance, not much has changed, but I guess as you look more in depth, lots of things are more noticeable. For example, all of the old ores. I forgot copper ore used to look like that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of copper ore, or most of them to be honest. I think the new ones are just so much better. Oh my god, jack-o'-lanterns are hideous. And so are wet sponges. It's just a sponge texture with a darker spot in the middle. However, there are some cool things. For example, the old planks don't look too bad, and honestly, the old crafting table just does look better, I think. But the old glass, yeah, I can't tell you how much I'm glad this has been removed. Like seriously, what were they thinking when they designed this? Why would glass have such big lines through it? You can't even see through it properly. Yeah, I'm glad that texture's gone. Also, taking a look at a build from far away, it doesn't seem to have many changes. However, if we look a bit closer, there are some noticeable changes, such as mossy cobblestone. I'm not a fan of this old texture. And looking at the creative inventory at certain items, I'm glad a lot of them have changed. Like the old golden apple just doesn't look good. The old totem also doesn't look too bad, I guess. But I do think the new ones are better. And looking at some mobs, there's not too many changes to be fair. However, for some reason villagers do have green hats. Just looking through my hardcore world as well, honestly I'm glad these textures have changed. Like this old wheat texture just doesn't look good. And also the water is just too dark and blue. So overall I'm going to rate the old vanilla textures a 5 out of 10. As some of the textures do look good, however the new default ones are so much better. But obviously this is all just my opinion, as the best part of Minecraft is the fact that you can play it in any way that you want. For example, you may not be a fan that I have these custom flower textures or these custom leaf textures, and that's alright. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what videos you'd like to see next, as one of the ones I'm working on is right up here. But that's it for a spoiler. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy.